Quick warning before we get into this video, there is an immense amount of twatty hair in this. It's a very windy day, and I just look back at some of the footage and wow. I do apologise. I mean, this isn't that much better, but Jesus Christ, you gotta work with what you got. Not a good look. Enjoy. What was the hardest time for me giving up alcohol? How did I resist peer pressure? What running shoes do I wear? And do I ever regret getting my tattoos? All this and more, but mainly this will be answered thusly. Right, hello, welcome back to another video on a particularly blustery, though sunny day. I wanted to get out and do another Q&A for you guys. These are proving quite popular now. I've got a ridiculous amount of questions stacking up at the moment, but please keep asking more, please. As always, if you like the channel, you like what I do, you like the comedy videos I've been putting out, check out my Instagram page. You can get the comedy videos on there 4 days earlier than I post them on YouTube. And I think that'll do for the self-promotion. Let's get into the Q&A. And my first question today is from Mark M. Hey Ben.
Oh, hi Mark.
Great channel. Oh, Mark. I've been following for a while because of your alcohol videos. My question would be, how did you abstain in the beginning when confronted with peer pressure and events where people are drinking? And is there a certain point in time where it just became automatic not to give in? I've been sober for a month or two at a time, but when I get around certain friends and family, it's like I just can't turn it down. So now I just have to not put myself in those situations, which is now causing people to think I don't want to hang around them. This is quite a common question I get as well, actually. I'm actually going to be doing a video soon. I'm going to do something a little bit different where I'm actually going to be discussing my final days of drinking, discussing what was going on in my head towards those last couple of days and what happened. Things are a bit different for me. I've always been quite a stubborn bastard, and I've given up multiple times over the years. So my friends are kind of used to me at certain points having dry periods, and I guess they just kind of nearly went then, and I guess they just kind of wait for me to do my thing and then come back to it. Of course this time I didn't, but they weren't to know that. So my friends were kind of used to me doing this. Now I gave up on January the 3rd, and because of that I guess it's not such an uncommon thing to do anyway. A lot of people give up in January, have a dry January. It's also worth pointing out as well that we're coming up to Sober October, which I will be doing a video of hints and tips on. Just point it out to anyone who is struggling with that sort of stuff. Sober October is a good month to try and do it, because you probably will get support from people, and if you can keep on going through the Christmas period, then you'll be in January, which is another time when people are a bit more supportive of this sort of thing. So just saying, there's potentially a good 4 months there of being able to stay sober. I know Christmas is a tough one, but if you've already got some sobriety under your belt, then just saying. So yeah, I gave up for January, and that was all I intended to do, and people were respectful of that. But when I got towards the end of January, I decided I was going to go a little bit further. I think maybe because I didn't actually intend to fully give up right away. You know, if I'd have said, that's it, I'm never ever drinking again, not only would nobody else have believed me, but I probably wouldn't have believed me. One of the reasons I gave up in January was because I had a really heavy Christmas, as in just drinking so much. I had one of those proper 10-day drink-a-thons, and I was just so sick of it. I was just so sick and tired of feeling like shit. Sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. Basically, it took me most of January to get back to like feeling normal. It took me at least 10 days to kind of get my shit together in the first place. So I was just starting to feel good by the end of January. I thought, what's the point in carrying, you know, what's the point in going back to it now? So I kind of like the idea of extending it a little. And that's kind of what I did each month. I just went another month until I got the year done. I can really sympathise with where you're coming from here, because it's often other people who make your life more difficult than you are. It's one thing you deciding to quit, but others might have differing opinions. I've said this in another video before as well, but quite often it's the other people you have to convince. It's not just you not drinking. You have to let other people know that you're not drinking. Unfortunately, there's not really an easy solution. I think essentially that if you are around a lot of people who don't respect what your decisions are, then maybe that's an issue. I know what you mean about people getting offended or people thinking you don't want to hang around with them anymore. The brutal truth is that if they are a part of a lifestyle that you don't want to be a part of anymore, then that's kind of how it's going to be. I was quite open with my friends towards the end of it. I just said, that's it. At some point I did actually make the decision that I was done, but by that point I'd kind of been sober for quite a while anyway. In terms of like, was there a time when it became automatic? I think maybe around 6 months in. 6 months for me was, I guess that was enough time for me to realise that I wanted to stay away from it for longer, and my friends by that time had become used to it as well, so I guess they stopped hassling me so much. But I suppose it was after the full year, that first year of sobriety, I think that's kind of what really cemented it for me. That was the first time it felt like, wow, that's actually a real proper length of time. I mean, now I'm approaching 5 years and it just seems like too precious a thing to throw away. So that's kind of what keeps me going now. I think like the longer you do it, the longer you can stick with it, because you've got more to lose, if that makes any sense. And also I think the longer you stay sober, there was a while where I was just being sober, probably the first year. I suppose it was about a year afterwards that other things started changing in my life, where I was able to actually start thinking properly, oh wow, I'm not worried about drinking anymore. So I just started putting my mind elsewhere and doing other things in life that I wanted to do. So I hope some of this was of use to you. I will be making videos on this sort of thing again in the future. Like I said, I will be doing a video discussing my final days of drinking. I'm going to be doing that in the near future. Like I said, I want to do something a little bit different. So a lot of people have been asking for that one, so maybe there'll be a bit more info for you there that might help as well. So hope that answered some of your question, mate. Could nobody have informed me that I was suffering from a bad case of twatty hair? Okay, I think I'm going to sit down here and do this instead. So the next one is from Fuzzy Vision. Hello Benjamin. Hello Fuzzy Vision. I'm considering starting to jog. In recent months I lost a pile of weight and want to add another form of cheap exercise to my arsenal. There is a lot of theories on running shoes. Any thoughts? I personally use Hoka Ona Arahi 3, which you can't get anymore. I think this is on the 4th version of them now. I found them particularly good because they've got a very, very big sole on them, some really good cushioning, and I find them great. I mean, when I started running I was 50 pounds heavier than I am now, and I started running with some Innovate trail shoes which were fantastic for grip. They didn't have a great deal of sole on them, and I ended up getting quite a lot of injuries because of that. My feet got pretty beaten up and my calves really suffered with it. I pulled my calf muscles all the time, and I think a lot of that was down to the lack of absorption, the cushioning, shall we say, from the shoes. So yeah, at the moment I've been using Arahi 3 from Hoka Ona. But yeah, anything with real good cushioning in, I find to be the best. Go one size up as well seems to be the general rule quite often. Seems with running shoes, yeah, the size that you are is not good enough. You want to go one size up, and I went for I've got wide feet as well. There was a wide fit option as well, so there you go. Next question is from Ashley Douthwaite. Howdy yourself, Ashley. I have a question for you, kind of the point. I've caught a glimpse in a few of your videos of that tribal tattoo you have on your arm up to your neck. Do you regret having tattoos as you are getting older and maturing? I'm a tattoo artist, 35 and covered in them, and as of yet still quite enjoy wearing them. Cheers. Well, cheers to you, Ashley. Do I regret getting tattoos? No, I don't. I think maybe I regret having the tribal. Well, no, I don't regret having them. I love them. In fact, I'd actually love to get a full sleeve on my left arm with a lot of the stuff that interests me. You know, music, literature, stuff, other bits. And I was thinking of, you know, maybe getting something to do with the straight edge movement as well. I've really been listening to a lot of more hardcore punk music, and I've always fascinated with the straight edge scene. So now that I'm kind of living that lifestyle, that seemed like an appropriate thing to incorporate into it somehow. But I don't regret my tattoo. I think I get a bit pissed off when I see so many other people with similar, if that makes any sense. You know, I got this tattoo done probably the best part of 20 years ago now, and I mean, you know, I've definitely seen some people with that sort of style before then, but now I just see it all the time. The amount of time I'm out walking and I'll see somebody with that, you know, something like that creeping up their neck, which is a bit annoying. You know, you can't stop it. That's how it is. Far from regretting it, I actually want more, and yeah, I love my tattoos, love them. And the final question that I'm going to answer today is from Peter B. When and what was the hardest time over the last 5 years for giving up alcohol? Was there a time when you thought, I've got this beat? That's a good question. Hang on, let me put my phone away. Yeah. Get moving again, I think. It seems to have died down a little now. When was the hardest point in the last 5 years? I don't know. The weird thing is, I think once I did finally come to the decision to give up, it was actually kind of fairly easy by that point. And by the time I had actually reached that decision, I'd already been sober for 6 months. Well, actually, maybe it was a year. Actually, I suppose you could technically say the first year was the toughest, because once I'd done the first year, that was it. It seemed too much to throw away after that. But I think all the hardest times that I had with alcohol were previous attempts, I guess. I've said this before, but if there are any benefits to having fallen off the wagon so many times before, it made it much harder to bullshit myself. So yeah, I guess the hardest part of it were all the failed attempts that I'd done before. With this time, I guess I had that in the back of my head all the time. Anytime I had them little niggling thoughts of like, oh, you know, maybe I could just have a couple. I've got it sorted now. I just remembered all those times that I'd said that in the past, and that it hadn't worked, I suppose. I don't know if that's of much use to you at all, really. I mean, you know, again, I think people quite often want these easy answers sometimes, like there's some magic trick, but I don't think there is, really. We've all lied to ourselves before when we try to give up. I think maybe there's a part of us that kind of know that, you know, but this time, I don't know, I just gave up month by month. You know, I didn't intend to give up fully at all. I just went month by month, and then before I know it, I was at 6 months, and then I was at the year, and that was when I was just like, so, you know, in answer to your second question, was there a time like I felt I had it beat? I think definitely once I'd done that first year, not only had I done a complete year, but because I gave up in January, that meant to get through to the full year, that meant I had to get through the following Christmas sober. And once I'd done that, not only did I know it, but I think everybody else around me knew it as well. So yeah, I'd say probably that first year. I know there's a lot of people watching this channel who feel that they have to give up, or they really should give up, and I can understand how daunting that is to want to, you know, the idea of like, that's it, what, I can never drink again. So maybe set short-term goals, you know, sort of break it up a bit. If, for instance, you've managed to give up for a couple of months before, then maybe look at now getting 3 months, and then sort of reassess when you're at that point, and just keep trying and go that way, because there is hope for everybody. I've said this many times before, but I don't actually think about alcohol a great deal other than when I'm doing these videos now. That's kind of the point I'm at. Try and get that first year out of the way, and then maybe you can start introducing other things, start focusing on other bits and pieces. That's not saying you can't do it sooner, obviously, but I think it's quite often when you think you've got it beat that things can come back. I am always mindful of that. I don't think of alcohol much at all. But whenever I do, which is maybe, I don't know, maybe every 4 or 5 months or so, I might get that odd sort of like, it has been a long time, you could just go out and have a laugh, but no, I've made the decision. No. Hope there was something of use to you in there, mate. All the best to you, and I know that you can do it. I'm trying to keep these videos a bit shorter because that does seem that a lot of people don't get through the entire videos. So I'm trying to keep them a little bit shorter, keeping them to 3 or 4 questions each. I don't know what my next video is going to be at this point. It might be more of an impromptu one. I'm trying to do things a bit like that now. Do a comedy video once a week, do a longer video once a week, but alternate between a Q&A and something a bit more spontaneous, something that's been on my mind throughout the week. At some point I would like to kind of get up to doing 3 videos maybe a week. That would be kind of nice. I would like to do that, but baby steps for the moment. I've only just started doing the channel again, and it's I like the way it's going at the moment. It's kind of cool, so just keep going. That'll do for my Q&A today. Glorious, beautiful weather, despite the wind, the windy wind, the wind of shit. Beware the winds of shit, Randy. Yeah, still a lovely day. We've only got so many of them left. So I'm going to go and enjoy my fair isle of Englandhamshire, and I'll be back next with a comedy video, I guess. And then I'll see you after that again. So yeah, take it easy. Bye, 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 bye.